Only a dream can kill a dream. There's a throwaway line in Big Trouble in Little China that explains more about 21st century geopolitics than most white papers ever will. Egg Shen, the old mystic everyone underestimates, says it plainly, only a dream can kill a dream. He's not talking about monsters. He's talking about power. Modern power doesn't rule primarily through tanks or missiles. It rules through shared imagination, stories that feel inevitable, benevolent, grown up. Once those stories take hold, facts become optional and memory becomes negotiable. You can show people evidence and still lose because the evidence is trying to argue with the world they live inside. That's how Tiananmen became a footnote instead of a rupture. In 1989, the world watched tanks roll over students demanding reform. The footage existed. The witnesses were alive. The brutality was undeniable. And yet, within months, Western leaders were back on tours assuring us China was simply opening up, learning capitalism, becoming a responsible stakeholder. Give it time, give it trade, give it engagement. That wasn't analysis. That was narrative repair. The massacre contradicted a story the West needed to believe, that markets civilize regimes, that trade dissolves brutality, that engagement naturally produces freedom. Rather than abandon the story, elites softened the memory. The brochure replaced the lived reality. That decision echoes forward. WTO accession, offshoring, the soothing language of rules-based order, the long trance of globalization. The bet wasn't that China would never do evil again. The bet was that evil would be neutralized by GDP. History would be dissolved in growth charts. It didn't work. What is more revealing is how hard it became, how socially forbidden it became, to admit it wasn't working. When Donald Trump crudely attacked the China arrangement, the reaction wasn't careful scrutiny. It was rejection by reflex. Not because the underlying tensions were imaginary, but because the messenger threatened the dream. If he said it, it had to be wrong. Identity replaced inquiry. Opposition became epistemology. Then the same establishment that denounced the critique quietly adopted versions of it. Tariffs, reshoring, China as rival frameworks after he left office. That's how dreams protect themselves. They don't just resist facts. They punish the people who speak them at the wrong time, in the wrong uniform. The movie understands this instinctively. Its villain, Lo Pen, isn't a raging tyrant. He's polite, ceremonial, ancient. He survives through ritual compliance and benevolent language. Everyone knows something is wrong, but the system continues because maintaining the ceremony is easier than confronting the truth. And Jack Burton, the loud American hero, thinks he's in charge. He isn't. He's a mascot. The real work happens underground, out of sight, managed by people who understand symbols, memory, and timing. That's geopolitics. Power today lives in infrastructure, supply chains, standards committees, financial plumbing, narrative frames, and selective forgetting. It doesn't announce itself. It normalizes itself. And once normalized, it becomes immoral to question. Which brings us back to Egg Shen's line. You can't defeat a dominant narrative with spreadsheets alone. You can't shame it into collapse. You can't fact-check a dream out of existence. Dreams only die when a better story takes their place. One that restores memory, names the ritual, and refuses the brochure. That's the work now. Not nostalgia, not rage, not purity contests. Just memory. And the courage to say, the story we were sold does not match the life we lived. Only a dream can kill a dream.